Okay, Godfather the Dawn Edition. We're going to take a look through the family tactics, mob tactics. And this is basically just a preview of what you're going to see in the game.
There are 5 families out there, kid, each controlling their own neighborhood. First, there's the Tatalias from Brooklyn.
I'm not going to narrate a whole lot through
is
this.
next in line to be done, and is working with that Turk asshole.
You guys get a feel for the tactics of the game.
Tatalias are tough, but nothing you can't handle. As for Brooklyn, the Heights is pretty ritzy, but watch out near the waterfront. If I had a dime for every cheap hotel, brothel, or sleazy clip joint, I'd be a very wealthy man. Look into the face of a Strachey and you'll see one thing: trouble. You don't want to run into them on a dark night in their New Jersey stronghold. At first, the place looks pretty quiet, all little shops and fancy parks. But watch out. Better bring a crew with you before paying the Stracheys a visit. Hell's Kitchen is one of the city's toughest neighborhoods, controlled by the Cunios. They ain't rich. A few gambling clubs and brothels, plus some weapons. Hell's Kitchen is a sewer, full of burned-down tenements and empty warehouses. The rail yards are a rat's nest of scumbags and late-night wheeling and dealing. Midtown is the heart of New York. You got all those famous landmarks that you've seen in pictures, plus the biggest hotels, swankiest nightclubs, and the most valuable rackets in town. One family controls Midtown, the Barcinis. They're tough sons of bitches. Don Emilio Barcini is in charge and rules with an iron fist. And finally there's us, the Corleones. Little Italy used to be our turf, but the rival families kept moving in and hitting our businesses. We gotta stop them, kid. Take the families out one by one. But when you look up at that big sign, Janko Olive Oil, you know, on Mott Street, that's when you know you're home.
Okay, that takes care of the families. Take a quick look over the extortion.
You want to earn some protection money? First, you gotta find a business right for the taking. To extort the owner, you gotta convince him that it's in his interest to pay us, capiche? Each merchant folds under different kinds of pressure, and everyone has a weak spot. Some folks will listen to reason. Others, well, you're gonna have to, apply pressure. When targeting a merchant, you'll see his pressure show up under his health. Everyone has 2 lines, where they'll give in and where they'll fight back. The closer you can push a merchant to their breaking point without pushing them over, the more cash you'll take home. But be careful. A man can only take so much. Push them too far and they'll snap. Maybe even take you on. Persuasion is an art. You can threaten the poor schmo with your bare fists or a gun. You can smash up his shop, even beat up some unlucky customers. All sorts of ways. Me? I like the simple approach. Crack open the register with his own head. Sometimes, though, you won't even have to break a sweat.
I like that move, too.
If a shopkeeper asks for a favor, you might be able to win him over by doing what he asks. Earn his loyalty, you'll be rewarded in kind.
Okay, we'll get a look at the rackets now.
You want to own New York City? You want to be the king? You gotta control the rackets. They're all over town, usually in some crappy little shop with a dirty secret. These shops are called fronts, and they're hiding the illegal racket stuff that's being pushed on the streets. Break the shopkeeper, and maybe he'll let you poke around his business. If you're lucky, you'll find the racket boss. Try cracking some skulls and persuade him to show the Corleones some loyalty. But it's better to buy him out instead, if you can afford it. The more rackets you control, the more cash you'll make for the family. But to be a real earner, you have to find the warehouses supplying the fronts. These fortresses are a tough nut to crack, but if you take one over, you'll discover where all the liquor, weapons, and other racket merchandise actually arrives in New York. The hubs. Taking over a hub is the key to breaking the rival families' backs. There's another way to get your teeth into those rackets. Hijack their supply trucks first. Each neighborhood is full of trucks smuggling goods from warehouse to business and back. Stop the truck and take out the guards, then rough up the driver. Take his keys, stash the truck somewhere safe, and you'll score some fat loot. Finally, don't forget to check in on the local brothels and casinos. Those gamblers, pimps, and madams tend to stick together, but if you smooth talk the owner just right, you might find yourself sitting in the lap of luxury.
Okay, takes care of the rackets. Vendetta.
Now be careful out there. If you're thinking of taking out a family, they won't take it lying down. Killing rival soldiers and hitting their businesses will cause their vendetta level to rise. The families already don't like Corleones on their turf, and a high vendetta level only makes things worse. They'll send out their capos, do drive-bys, and make our life a living hell. Earn too much vendetta, and you'll start a mob war. During a mob war, every Corleone is a target. They'll hunt us down and start torching our businesses. There's two ways to end the mob war. Bomb one of their joints or bribe an FBI agent. Feds can be bribed at any time to reduce vendetta levels, so you should plan on paying them a visit from time to time. If you get whacked during a mob war, it'll cool the families down for a while, but only because they'll have bombed more of our places while you're away getting treatment. Use Tom's report to check vendetta levels for each family before they become a problem. Know your enemies, I always say.
Okay, the heat.
It's the old story, kid. Make trouble, and the cops are gonna be all over you. The bigger the crime, the more heat that comes down on your head. Cops will be everywhere, and they won't be too friendly. That is, if they ain't already shooting. Manage your heat by bribing cops on the street, or cooling your heels at a safe house. Each neighborhood is run by a police captain. Leave some problems with this guy, and he'll make sure all his lackeys look the other way if you want to wave your gun around. Hell, they might even fight for you, as long as you don't push things too far. If you join the family, you'll get Tom's report. All our guys report back to Tom and tell him the heat levels in each neighborhood. Keep an eye on the heat, or you might get burned.
Crew members.
The Corleones, we're family. When you join us, you'll be part of the family too. But you gotta start where all of us started when we first joined, at the bottom. As an enforcer, you might be asked to join the crew of a seasoned capo, or do a job alongside a respected soldier. Do good, and you might get promoted. And promotion has its privileges. Not only will you keep more of what you earn, but you can start hiring your own crew. The higher your rank, the better the crew member you can hire. Our guys can be found all over New York. Check your map, or just head home to the compound. Once you have a crew, you're ready for business. Try taking over some enemy businesses, rob a bank, or just go for a little Sunday drive. A crew member is great in battles, but sometimes you'll want him to take a hike if you've got private business. Just tell him to go home, and he'll split. Otherwise, your crew will stick with you through thick and thin, even if it means an unpleasant farewell.
Black hand.
Hand-to-hand fighting is an important part of being a made man. You'll earn more respect for taking down enemies with your fists, and it's a great way to get a gavone to talk. Sure, a couple of quick jabs will soften a guy up, but throwing a strong hook, overhead smash, or uppercut will really get your message across. And switch up your attacks, too. Left, right, left, right. Now, these combos are hard to stop, kid. And when you've got a bat or a lead pipe in your hands, you can't lose. And when you grab someone, there's even more you can do. You can still charge a punch by holding your fist back, but you can also drag and swing the poor Goomba around like a sack of potatoes. Maybe try pushing your guy up against a wall, or slam his head into a table. Let go while swinging someone, and he'll be thrown to the ground, or through a window. Hey, it's your call. When you have a gun out, try pistol whipping the guy, or show him the business end of a shotgun. Let him know you're serious, capiche? A headbutt, a stomp to the chest, these are all good things to learn, kid. But when you gotta be discreet, try strangling someone. Or better yet, try a quick neck snap. That gets your attention? And remember, you need to practice your moves and develop your skills. Level up your fighting ability, and you'll be a made man in no time.
Okay, that's going to wrap up the thing. These are just previews of the... Okay, so that's the mob tactics. A quick overview of how the game's going to be and some of the stuff you got to do, and some of the beginning missions of the game. Kind of, we'll go over the extortion, rackets, and bribing police and so on, and just follow some of those videos on how that's important. I was under the impression that if you bought level 1 weapons, you got respect for that. That's not the case. So it's not really important to get level 1 weapons, and I kind of mentioned that in the videos coming. And what we do is, I got the pack, so I have 400,000, but I'm not divvying into that money. I want to show you guys how you can get the safe houses, your first safe house, how to get the key for the private vault. That's like 50,000 plus the key for the armored vans. Rob a couple banks, get some money together so you can buy your first safe house, and then all the weapons are in there. And obviously any enemies you shoot along the way will drop weapons. You can pick them up. So there's not a big need to really buy the level 1 weapons, and if you get a safe house bought, all the weapons are in there. So that's a nice way to get them, and you need the safe houses anyway. So just follow the first few videos. It's going to get into all that, why I'm doing what I'm doing. But you do want to buy the level 2 weapons and then the level 3, and you're going to need a lot of money for all that. So just follow how I rob the banks and which safe houses are the most important to get in the beginning part of the game. And that's going to make your life a lot easier, because what you need is money, and a lot of it. The weapons are quite expensive, and so are the safe houses. Obviously, if you play some of the story and start taking over warehouses, that's going to be a good way to earn some money and get going. But I wanted to show how you can start the game off and get some real good money right off the bat. And it's still a lot of fun. You can hijack trucks and do ambushes and collect the safes and do other things to try to earn some money while the banks are being repaired, so you can rob them again. Just follow those videos. There's a lot of helpful information in there. AA Gamer for Life. We're going to get ready with this walkthrough.